What you say to me, throws his gun on the floor, and starts running. So about 10 years ago, I used to spend all my time training. I was very into martial arts, and I would spend all my time preparing to get in the cage and fight, like MMA style fighting. In this video, I'm gonna share with you techniques that can transform your life if you start applying it now. That's just the tip of the iceberg though. Go to VidaProject.com and join our community, and there you're gonna get access to tons and tons of free content and information, not just from me, but from all of our coaches here. Remember, what we do here is we transform, we evolve, we push ourselves to become the greatest versions of ourselves. I'll see you there. I was in amazing shape. I can run 10 miles and then I can go battle anybody and I'll still be ready to go. It was amazing from that end, but the training sucked. You know what my training was like? It was just drilling, doing things over and over and over again. There was one thing we would drill, which was called a sprawl. Someone will go for your legs, and what you do is you throw your legs in the air, you throw your legs back, and in that process, you bring your chest down with your arms, you push them into the floor, okay? It's basically a burpee, squat thrust. You're jumping, falling on your arms into like a push-up position. Thousands of burpees. I'm talking 2 to 3 hours a day, only this, drilling this. My back would hurt, my stomach would hurt, my head every time I hit the ground would just shake like if I got in a car accident, over and over and over again. My skin just hurt from the sweat constantly coming out. It was intense, it was tough, it was boring, it was excruciating. It was a tough time, but I appreciate it now. So during the same time, I had a really close friend of mine who put this weekend getaway. It was fun. We'll have a blast that weekend and walk away with a little bit of pocket change. So this one year, we're putting it together. We end up with about 25 people, big crowd, a big group, right? We have the camping. It was an amazing night. I used to train a lot, so I would wake up like 5 in the morning while everyone's sleeping on the tent, and I'll start running in the woods, doing pull-ups. The point came where we were ready to go paintballing, right? Get the group together, and once you get there, right, it's just basically in the woods, right? They have like these taping in the woods where you know you're in the area where you're going to be paintballing. So they have these different sections. Sometimes they have like buildings and constructions that you can play around in, but it's dangerous. This is a huge like area where there's hundreds of people there doing their own thing. So each group that's working in an area or playing paintball in an area has a guide that's taking them through it. And this guide, first thing they do is, like in most things like this, they take you through the whole safety procedures. You know, they tell you, you got to keep the red thing on the gun when we're not in play. You are not allowed to shoot when you're not in play. You don't shoot anyone from close distance. Logical rules that make sense, right? Sometimes they seem a little stiff, but you know, you're using this place, you understand. This year, we had this one character who just continuously broke the rules. He would, from shooting in the air when he's not supposed to, when it's not gameplay, to shooting someone up close when we're not even in a field to play, constantly breaking the rules, getting our guide very upset. Finally, the guide comes up to me and says, listen, I mean, I know that everyone else is behaving, but this one guy, if he continues this, I'm not going to be able to take you guys along. I'm going to have to cut the day right now. So at this very moment, as he's telling me this kid is standing in the middle of the field. We're all waiting over here, basically for him. He grabs the gun and starts shooting in the air. And the guy looks at me. So obviously I have to handle this. I tell him, yo, what's your problem? This kid apparently had a little bit, maybe too much to drink. I don't know what it was. But this kid says, what you say to me? Throws his gun on the floor and starts running full speed at me. And I look at his eyes. His eyes drop to my legs. He starts leaning forward. His arms are reaching forward. He's going for my legs. What have I been practicing? Drilling over and over and over again. I don't even have to think. I really didn't think. Everything moved in slow motion and my body just reacted. I remember like looking, what's going on? Slow motion, that's how it felt. And basically he goes for my legs. I sprawl. Boom. His face eats mud, right? I wrap around him, grab his arms, I got him in a lock, have my knees on his back, and he's woo, 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 woo in the mud. Security comes, they grab him, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you. Bro, you just look like a clown. Really bad. Anyways, this situation happens, and I stand up, and I'm like, Okay, are we good? We're good. The guy is like, all right, if he's leaving, they're kicking him out, then we can keep on. Everyone's cool. I'm cool with it. Awesome. So now, I tell you this because that drilling, that repetition of over and over and practicing, that did something to my body, to my anatomy, to my brain. It really built in this practice that now I wasn't even stressed in that moment. I was in my element. I was in my nature. A lot of times we think to ourselves that if something comes up, we're going to be able to figure it out. We're going to get adrenaline and we're going to figure it out and we're going to be able to do it. The Navy SEALs have a saying. It says, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your level of training. And I wholeheartedly believe this. Because you know what happens in your brain? When you're in a stressful situation, cortisol kicks in and you're actually unable to use your prefrontal cortex. You're unable to think clearly. You're unable to make decisions clearly. You fall into a basic form of thinking, which is you go to your reptilian brain and you think like just a little creature trying to survive, right? So there's 3 reactions you get. You get fight, flight, or freeze. Any one of those, you're not consciously practicing something, you're not consciously thinking about the situation, you're responding faster than your prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain that really thinks logically, is able to even process the information. You react. Now what happens is that in that moment, you're not going to make the best decisions. You're going to react like a deer in headlights when you freeze, for example. It's not logical. If you look at that situation, you're like, why would you do that? It's what your body does, it's what your brain does. So understanding this allows you to see the value of what I'm about to tell you. When you actually practice things in your mind, not even in real life, I can sprawl right now in my mind for half an hour a day and I can get similar benefits. Here's what they did in around the 60s. I don't have the statistics very accurately, but I'm gonna give you the ranges. In the 60s, they did a study with free throw shooting. Okay, so free throw shooting, if you don't know basketball, you stand on the free throw line and you can make free throw shots, right? They did a study with 3 groups. The first group was a control group. You're not gonna do anything, you're not gonna practice anything. They took their measurements, how many free throws they can make. Okay, nothing. The second group, they had them take the measurement, the starting measurements, which is how many free throws they hit. Okay, great, that's their starting. And then the third group, again, they did the same starting, right? The second group, they had them practice constantly, practice every day, 15 minutes a day, free throw shooting. The third group never touched a basketball again, just like the first group. The one difference was that this group practiced in their brains. They would sit there, literally think about free throw shooting and imagine themselves free throw shooting. And what happened was at the end of the study, the amazing thing is that first group didn't improve at all. Second group improved drastically. They improved, I think it was about 60 to 70%. The group that practiced in their mind actually improved about 50 to 60%. Now that was just in their mind. Isn't that amazing? That's the power that we have in our imagination. We can actually trigger responses that we can apply to real life. So this is a practice that you can take on. You can start practicing things in your head on how you want to react in a situation, and you can develop the skills to be able to react in real life that way. And you can really be the hero of your world. So if you found this helpful, I would appreciate a like, a comment, or just a share. Share with people that you want to share the love with. Peace.